everyone, I'm Alexis the Eagle Queen. Love me, I know you do. Anyway, today we are taking another project from the project stack, which I really don't have a name for, and by the time I actually pick a name, more than likely we will be done with it. But today we are working on Genestealer Cult Acolyte hybrids. Acolyte hybrids are the, I think, third generation of Genestealer or second generation of Genestealer. They are the ones that almost look human. They would never pass as a human, but they can still operate and they're still really efficient warriors because they're mostly Genestealer. They can use basic equipment as well as utilizing some of the rock saw, rock grinder technology, and maybe even some weaponry, such as hand flamers and auto pistols. Some might even get las pistols, but we don't know. Anyway, guys, let's get started. Okay, so what we have here today is the Genestealer Cult Acolyte Hybrid sprues. There's only 2 of them per box, and they make 5 deuters, which I personally think is too little of a number. I feel like this should make 6 or 7. I think 6 would be a good number. That way you have an extra 2 when you buy this thing, when you buy it for a full squad. And then it kind of draws you in to buy another squad because then it's 3 squads of 5. We have some bits over here. These are just from the Genestealers that I haven't really done anything with. We also have our Goliath rock truck over here, just relaxing. So we're just going to jump right into this. We have 5 of them. We need to arm them appropriately. And to be honest, I like my guys armed very, very, very basic. We're not going to make metamorphs. So we do have the metamorph sprues, but we're not going to make metamorphs. I want to finish off my Acolyte hybrids. I want to get a good 25 of them before I move on to metamorphs. I also don't think we're going to be using the cult icon just yet, as I really kind of don't like it as much. I wish it did more. I wish it gave more attacks. I wish the actual banners in this codex were actually worth taking, in my opinion. They're not. We also need to choose which special weapon we're going to give them, and I'm probably going to choose this based on looks and nothing else. So, where do we want to jump in? Let's just jump in right here. So for the build, we need clippers. I use a metal file. It works really well for me. And just some basic super glue. If you have it, Instaset works really, really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and pop off some legs, because we need those, obviously. Then we got the leaders here. He's got the capey thingy, or just the dress. I don't know, it's a dress. I think she's got a dress. We're just going to say this one's a she. I mean, in all fairness, their gender is a moot point. I don't think they can breed normally, but at this stage, I don't think they can breed normally. Well, normal human reproduction. I think they still have the tongue that is very creepy, we'll just say. So for those of you that don't know, Genestealers reproduce by grabbing their victims. The patriarch, well, he wouldn't be a patriarch at the time, or she won't be the patriarch at the time. I think she is a more apt description of a Genestealer cult, because they are technically Tyranid, and Tyranid are mostly female. I say that because there is the brood father, and the Swarmlord is often referred to as a he. So I can see those 2 being males in a bug society and actually, you know, being the breeders. Kind of like, oh, what am I trying to say? Kind of like a male ant in a colony. So we just have that. Okay, so we're not really going to use these metamorph arms, and I know that, so I could probably get these off of here. Shush, phone! Sorry about that, I thought I muted my phone. So I'm not going to be using these bits. I know that. So I'll probably just take these away. Mostly because I don't think that these are very good yet. I like the ability to go first in combat, don't get me wrong. I love Slanesh's ability. But at the same time, it's mediocre with them. Because chances are, when they make it into combat, you're actually assaulting with them. So you are already going first. But getting back to the Genestealers. So what the Patriarch does, or the first Genestealer that actually makes landing on a planet, which I found out that it's not just one Patriarch anymore. A Genestealer brood can have multiple Patriarchs, which is horrifying. Like, truly, that is honestly horrifying. Just get that off camera. So, and that's thanks to the Vulgus system information that we have. But, getting back to it, I kind of want that arm. How we know. So, Genestealer Cult, well, not how we know. Let's get back to the breeding cycle. So a Genestealer runs down a dark alley. It hides in a hive city. Hive cities are ideal for Genestealer cults, by the way. They're like the perfect spot for them, because they can hide extremely easily. They can even hide in craft worlds and take the form of the Avatar of Cain, but that's a whole nother story that is really, really, really silly. And even the author was like, yeah, I tried to make a really silly story. And it's just like, are you sure? What are you doing? I had him back when I was on... I talked to him back when I was on Adeptus Podcastus. But, that all being said... So, what a Genestealer does is they run down a dark alley and they hide. Sometimes, if the planet doesn't have a population, they'll just go dormant. And you won't hear from them for years. You'll actually never hear from them. They go into a Ymgarl state, which is where the Hive Fleet doesn't want them anymore because their genetic material isn't good enough to reintegrate into the Hive Fleets. Now, I don't know if that's still current lore, so I could be wrong on that. But last edition, that's what it stated for the Ymgarl Stealers. But a Genestealer that didn't go dormant, didn't go Ymgarl, will find a suitable host, usually female or... Yeah, usually female. And they'll grab them and tongue them. So a Genestealer's tongue is how they breed. They, when they grab somebody, they stick their tongue down their throat, and it's a fertilized egg that they're putting inside them. And the woman then carries the egg and thinks, because of the hypnotic abilities of a broodlord, or in this case a Genestealer cultist, or a Genestealer, that they are just carrying a normal human child. They are tricked into believing this, and they truly, truly believe it, and all of their parental instincts kick in, and they care for the child. Meanwhile, the broodlord keeps doing this. It does this until it has a nice amount of offspring. And then it itself starts changing. And when it starts changing, it starts becoming a patriarch. Well, first it becomes a broodlord, but broodlords and patriarchs are almost interchangeable terms. It's really confusing what the actual difference between the two is. My main thing is that one is part of the Genestealer cult, one is part of the Tyranid swarm, and it's just different stages of the same creature. So, moving on from that, the first generation, I think, will be Acolyte hybrids. Then it goes on to the second generation, which look more human, the Neophyte hybrids, and then you'll eventually start gaining pure strain Genestealers. And once they start getting their pure strains, the planet is just about ready for being taken over. So Genestealer cultists will infiltrate everything that they can. They will go towards systems of government. They will go towards the planetary nobles. They'll go up to the families. They'll try to get off planet, some of them. And they'll be a real nuisance, but most people don't actually ever see them. They hide in plain sight. Or they hide really, 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 really far away. And they try not to be seen, because that's kind of their whole point, is you don't see us, we're going to infiltrate your government. They're kind of the Illuminati, in a way, that we have today, or some believe we have today. Crazy conspiracy theories, lizard president Dorito. Anyway, love stupid conspiracy theories. Well, the absence of evidence is proof that he is a lizard. But anyway, that all being said, once the Genestealer Cult has farmed a planet and they start becoming more and more known, the Genestealers will let out a psychic signal. Now, this is how they're usually caught. A sharp-eyed Inquisitor or a Psyker on a planet will be able to detect them at this point, as they can't really hide once they start letting out the psychic signal that the planet is ready for invasion. So once they start doing that, they're usually found and destroyed, if they can. If not, some of the signs can be caught and Inquisition will be called in to deal with them. Now, it is always interesting to see what Inquisition shows up, because they are Xenos, but they're also heretics. Because technically, they are not worshipping the Emperor. So, you can have the Ordo Xenos and Ordo Hereticus, come in and actually start dealing with them. And granted, they will work together if needed, or they will just spite each other and work individually on the project. But, if detected, the Genestealer Cult will defend itself, and it will have an army at its disposal. Inquisitors will have to requisition either a ton of Acolytes to come in, or they'll requisition the Planetary Defense Force, or, in some cases, they'll call for outside aid, Imperial Guardsmen, Space Marines, things of that nature, to come in and deal with the problem. Now, an Inquisitor's power is absolute, so if they call, somebody must answer. And this does include Space Marines, though some do fight against them, i.e. the Space Wolves and the Dark Angels. But most do tend to comply with them because, well, they're the Inquisition. They're second only to the Emperor, and maybe Gilliman. Not sure where he stands on this. I've wondered that one. Kind of want to make one guy with just a bunch of bombs. I'm tempted to make this guy. He has all the explosives. Really want to make that guy. That guy's being made. I don't care if he doesn't have any weapons, and technically he's an illegal model. He has a bunch of bombs, and that's funny to me. But that all being said, fighting a Genestealer Cult is extremely hard. Genestealer cultists tend to hide doing hit-and-run tactics, and they know the planet better than everybody. Due to them staying there for so long and learning the ins and outs of the planet itself. So they're very difficult to deal with once they are on planet. And, I want where's the 200% radical mask? I definitely want that. There's one on here that's, amazing. Ooh, I definitely want Squid Face. I love Squid Face. Boop. And let's get the Trigon looking one. Not Trigon, Hive Tyrant looking one. Oh, there he is! 200% radical. I knew he was on here. These three are definitely going. We can get rid of these three. And we have 5 heads. Yeah, that should do. Now, the best way to defeat a Genestealer Cult is to, capture and contain Planetary population will more than likely have to go through the Inquisition to see if they're ready, mind wiping and or well, being destroyed. That might be an option. I did a campaign about this in Dark Heresy. We called it Egoqueenalexis. It was on my Twitch channel, which you guys should totally subscribe to because it's not just 40k, it's a lot of stuff. Play a lot of Overwatch right now. But anyway, on there, they had to investigate a Genestealer cult. But it was hidden within the guise of, within a planet that had a Slaanesh cult on it as well. So the Auto Hereticus was called in. And they had to go and investigate all of these strange disappearances as well as defeat this Slaanesh cult that was on the planet. They made short work of the Slaanesh cult because, well, they did. They were really good at killing them. The problem started arising when they couldn't kill the Genestealers. They found them on a space station in low orbit, and they, well, not in low orbit, but you know what I mean. They started trying to fight against them, but Genestealers are incredibly powerful. Go figure, they can kill Terminators. Even their, even this stage, the Acolyte hybrids are incredibly powerful. The Acolytes quickly found themselves outgunned and out, they were just out of their league at that point. The Auto Xenos popped in, did their research, and had to call in reinforcements. They even brought in Space Marines. So, whilst that was happening, the Acolytes of the Auto Hereticus deemed that it was planet. They needed to and destroy the space station because its corruption was absolute. So they did that. They had no other choice. If they let it survive, it would simply destroy everything. So they decided that it's better to lose the station and keep the populace uncorrupted than risk trying to take it back and going through each individual person, because there's a chance that some of them could have slipped through, which is exactly what Genestealers do. Overall, they chose the good ending of the campaign, which is to lose the planet momentarily in quarantine, but lose the planet and lose a good chunk of the population, but overall stop the Genestealer cult from spreading from that planet. Was it really the good ending? No, it's 40k. There is no good endings. Pistols. There we go. My tummy is grumbling. I should probably eat some food. There's something about building Genestealer cults. Like, once you start knowing them and you know how to build them, it's kind of like tactical marines, where you could just go through them really quickly. And that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm just organizing the parts before I put them all together. And you get a ton of useful bits like hand flamers, which you just cut the hand off and use for your space marines. Especially if you're running Bengals, Blood Angels, as they can take a ton of them. Or Sisters of Battle, which, if you're taking hand flamers, you're not taking Inferno pistols, so take Inferno pistols, because you have that option. Always argue the effectiveness of an Inferno pistol. Also, it's an Inferno pistol, so it's probably the coolest weapon ever. Okay. Boop. And boop. There we go. Got one more with twin rending claws on it. And now we have all the bodies. Now I think what we're going for is... Nope, not that weapon. Is it this one? Always forget how this goes. Maybe I tossed it in there. I don't think I'm going to go for a bigger weapon right now. Mostly because I don't really see it as necessary. If you run several 5-man squads or even a 10-man squad of these, they're pretty efficient. I like running small 5-man units because you get a better chance of getting more into combat. And I know some people are going to be like, well, Alexis, you drop in 10 with the Primus and you get a really good, really good chance. And while you are correct, you absolutely are correct, the problem arises with, I want to take my Genestealers, 20 of them, and take the Primus with them. And I think these guys are on 32 mil bases. Yes, they are. Or is it 25? It's not 25. It might be the little in between base that I can never remember. I should not have cut this off. Okay, so here's 6. Then we need 13. There we go. Six and 13. Then we have, and that goes to Fancy Pants, which is him. Okay. Then we have, I think all of the rest are essentially the same, it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't actually tell you which ones go to where. So we're just going to pop all of this off. Just break all of this right in half so it's easy to separate all of them. There we go. Boop. And now I posted a list the other day of my 2,000 point Acolyte, not Acolyte, my 2,000 point Genestealer Cult army as it stands and how I want it to be. And the biggest thing is that I want 60 Genestealers for the army. Like, you know, just flat out Genestealers because I think they're really, really, really efficient. And how I'd run it. Now, with this is the last Genestealer box that we have to do. So keep that in mind. This is the last one for now, until they release the newer sets, which I would desperately need to get. That all being said, there's another body that's the same. I do want to get all of this stuff finished, painted up, looking nice, and I'm going to need some painters. And I'm already using about 4 different people for painting for the channel, and they're all extremely good. So let's move this. Now we have all of these bodies. So now we can finally start gluing things together. Isn't that exciting? I do need to get the bases, to get them all set on their bases immediately. So I'm going to do that right now. So. Sorry about the noise. I couldn't find my official GW bases that came with this set, which are these. But I do have these wood burnt terrain, these wood burnt or wood carved bases that are the same size. Now I don't do official GW tournaments because, well, support your locals. Also GW wants you to have the right paints and everything for their minis, which is absolutely asinine, but you didn't hear that from me. And we're just going to go through and glue these guys on their bases really quickly. Just the legs themselves for the most part. Just going through, making sure that they are firmly planted on their base. And going through carving that foot so it's nice and flat. Same with this one. Okay, same with this one. I normally base the lower half of a model before I even put them together. It just makes it easier for later on when they start becoming unbalanced. So right now we just need to wait for them to dry. So this will be instantaneous for you, but I'm going to wait 5 minutes off camera. Okay, so they are finally dry, hopefully, enough that we can continue. Now we have the arms for guns, the arms for, well, their close combat weapons, Mr. Bomberman, and their heads, which we have already. So we're just going to put every other bit that isn't necessary in this pile. Now we know this one is important. So put this one together really quickly. A little dab of glue on its connection points. Get that together and, come on, get that together. Oh, I forgot that these things never like to line up. And they will glue to every single part of your hand before they glue to each other. Okay, then we got this. Tap right there and beep and boom. Got our first body together, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and get the rest of these together. Now I'm not going to be using this back because it has the indent in it, and that's for the heavy weapons or the one thing that actually goes on one of their backs, which I cannot remember what it's called right now. So don't mind me. I see how this goes. Let's try this one real quick. Yeah, got it. Okay, then tap it together, put a little bit of glue on the bottom. We'll grab these legs that you'll be attached to. I do love that they're slightly hunched over. I think that's a really, really nice addition to them. Because you could have just, GW could have just made upright Genestealers, and it would have looked really stupid, but instead they went with a crazier look, which I really like. Now just so you guys know, there is a little tiny bit of a stub right in the middle of these, which tells you what part they connect to. You could go through the instructions and find this out really quickly, or you can just do what I do and wing it, which I love winging it. It's my favorite hobby. Now, I know this one lines. No, this one does not line up. Need this one lines up to it. Perfect. And then we'll put a little dab of glue on the bottom. Grab some legs. I gotta fix those legs really quickly. There's a little bit of stuff still on them. So we'll go through, make sure that is off. Shave that down just a little bit. Get this body on. Perfect. Now we just have 2 more to do. So, not that one. This one is a middle piece, so it's got to be this one. Wait, no it isn't. What? Okay. Let's try this again. Is it this one? No, definitely not that one. This one. This one is the middle. Also right. Okay. So I messed up somewhere. Let's just move on to a different one. I mean, all I need is 2 more, and I think one of these connects to the backpack we didn't use, the back that we didn't use. Okay, so there we go. Just like that. Get this together. Grab some legs. Put this on the legs. Call it good. Set that down. Get the last ones. And this is the middle, so this one's not important. This one is this one. Perfect. And with that, we have all 5 of the bodies together. I just need to hold this one a little bit longer. It's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Okay, so with that, now we just need to choose our weaponry. So we know you have a double arm on one side. We know that you have a double arm on one side. We know that you have a double arm on one side, and I want to just give you the Cult knife. You have a single arm on the one side, so you're going to have a gun in that arm. So we'll put this one in that arm. And then this one has the same thing, so you will get this gun. Actually, no you won't. One of you is getting bombs. You, right here, are going to be Mr. Bomberman, because that is hilarious, and you're going to be the 200% radical dude. So we'll put this one here. That one there, that there. This can go back into that pile. This can go here. Then we have single arms on the other side. So you go here. Each one of these guys usually has just 3 arms. I think the Acolyte leader has 4. Looks like I messed up on him, but he's supposed to have 4. I'm probably only going to put 3 on him. Okay. This guy has 2 arms on the opposite side, so you have... Which ones is it? So that side, that side. This side. And actually what we can do is give you 4 arms, because you're supposed to be the leader. So you get 4 arms. And then this guy has a double arm on the other side as well. So that leads this to be a little bit tricky. So we might wind up making... going through this and finding... Don't know what to do in this situation. It looks like I messed up on one of them at some point, so that was an oopsie daisy. Oops. Oh, whoops. Here it is. I had the arm on backwards. So there's all 5 of their arms. So now that they are dry, we'll just dab, pop, and get each arm. Oh, what is the Overwatch character's name that explodes? He has the tire on his back, and I cannot remember what his name is. I only know a few of the characters by name so far. I'm still new to that game. This one with all the bombs is probably my favorite. I'm not gonna lie, he is definitely my favorite. And where is that 200% radical head? Yes! Though he does have a mold line going down it. Now, the reason I don't clean up the mold lines, and a lot of people have pointed this out, is my painters actually do it a little bit better than I do. So I'll admit to being lazy on that part. And it is really simple to remove mold lines. Something as delicate as this you can do pretty much with your nail. Okay, we'll just pop that head in. And there we go. 200% radical. Little tiny bastard. Okay, we don't need these anymore, we don't need these anymore, we just need these, and we need to get the rest of these together. So we'll just shave this down just a bit, put a little dab of glue on there. A lot of people also ask me why I use superglue. And truth of the matter is, superglue works a little bit faster. So it's mostly because I'm doing videos that I use superglue. Typically, I have GW glue or a type of plastic glue that I use for bigger vehicles. But on the simpler models, superglue works just as easy. This arm is just, no, stop. Just go on where you belong. As I said, that superglue is supposed to be faster and easier. It is not being that. Instead, just wants me to look like an idiot. Would you stop it? Cut it out. Stop being dumb. I hate you. You are not friend. You will be... Yep. Screw you. I hate you forever now. You are no longer loved, and you will not be invited to Christmas. Genestealer Christmas, where you get to be in the farms of the Emperor. Granted, the Emperor is a giant space bug, but still. See? Your brother went on perfectly fine. You're just being dumb and rude, and that is being rude. Okay, let's go ahead and put on the next arm. Oops. Shave this down just a little bit. Okay. Still should be glue on the one side. Also do love that the cult doesn't hold their guns steady at all. All of their guns are at like awkward angles, which makes like no sense whatsoever. I mean, that would represent their ballistic skill. I think their ballistic skill is 4+, so they're just as trained as guardsmen. Which I still think is really, really, really funny. Okay, do you want to put on your arm now? It would be nice, and I would give you a hug. I hate you. Come on. Stay. Be a good little bug human. Hybrid. It would honestly be cool if we got some hybrids that weren't necessarily human. Like Eldar hybrids. Because humans aren't the only species that can be affected with the Genestealer Cult. Orks can, so can Eldar. Though it's not very likely in Orks because Orks can detect inherent unorkiness, which is the actual fluff for that. It's silly, I know, but that is the actual fluff for it. And Eldar, they have this entire story dedicated to where a Genestealer patriarch became the avatar of Cain. And I thought that that was amazing. Come on, hold your arm on. Why are you guys being so difficult today? You just don't want to glue on, do you? Okay, you know what? Before this takes about 5 hours to do, I'm going to put all of their arms on off camera. Okay, with that, we have all of the arms on. And I have this pile of Genestealer parts. One of the cool things about Genestealer Cult is you get so many bits. So, now we're just putting heads on, and with that, we will be done building our Genestealer Cult, well, little army here. So I'm just going to down a little bit of glue on them. And the heads are usually like the last piece that I always put on, because I want to get nice angles on their heads so that they are looking the way that their weapons are facing. Which is always one of my pet peeves, is when you have Space Marines just all holding their weapons on their sides and just looking straight. It's like, shouldn't you guys be, you know, aiming? go. And this one, on the other hand, his head will be on straight. And you're going to have like a normal looking head. And even then I want it slightly cocked. And then the last one, slightly tilted and perfect. We do have to remove the mold lines, but that's whatever. So with that, we have 5 new acolytes for the army, which is going to be really difficult when they fight against, you know, those are not, yeah. When these acolytes fight against other acolytes of the Inquisition, it's going to be very difficult to determine which is which. Okay, so we got them finished, and they look pretty nice in my own opinion. Pretty basic, but that's what we wanted. We want 5 additional basic acolytes to add to our force because we want to maximize the number of units that we can send into battle. That all being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rants and Rambles building Genestealer Cult Acolytes. This series is made possible by you, the viewers, which is awesome because most of this stuff here has been donated to the studio here. A lot of it is Victor's stuff that came over so that I can actually sit down and build it together with you guys. But a good chunk of it came from you guys, and if there is something on the channel that you would love to see built, simply look in the description and look in the description below, which I think is over here. And you can find my P.O. Box there. You can send me whatever. If you do, it means a lot. It goes a long way to supporting the channel while you're down there. Please check out the other social medias that I am on. Twitch, YouTube, obviously you're on YouTube, you're watching this video. Facebook, Twitter, I'm on everything. And if you are super awesome and want to support the channel, please check out my Patreon. It goes a long way to helping the channel out. It keeps my lights on. It keeps me doing this and not doing an actual job and doing the thing that I love doing, which is making videos for you guys so I can show you the passion that I have for this hobby. And I really, 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 really love this hobby. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Egoqueen. I love you guys. Bye.